Hey friend, welcome to the Feminine Initiate podcast, a space for online coaches, creatives, and visionaries ready to do the thing while reclaiming their feminine power, manifesting their desires, and creating the impact they know they're here to make. Let's get into it. Hello friend, welcome back to the podcast. I hope you're having an incredible day so far. There's only a couple weeks left for the Women in Podcasters Award. If you have not yet voted, I would so appreciate your support. I have been nominated for the Women Podcasters Award in the personal development category for this year, and the voting period is ending on May 31st, so just a couple days away. If you haven't yet voted, I've included the link in the show notes of this episode. You have to go to womenpodcasters.com and select all of the podcasts that you want to vote for in each category. There's about a dozen categories available where you can pick other amazing podcasts in there. And then of course, I would really appreciate it if you would select Feminine Initiate, Jessica West for the personal development category. This would help so much. Winners are going to be announced mid-June, and I'm really so excited for that. Earlier this week, I was speaking to a friend and she asked me a really interesting question that I wanted to share with you and really unpack it more. So we were talking about my life-threatening car accident and the experience leading up to it and then after it, and how I was able to recover and defy all of the limitations that were placed upon me. And her question was, why did you want to turn that experience and all of that pain into a profession? Why didn't you just heal in silence and leave it at that? And I thought, I was never asked this question before. This is such a good question. And so I wanted to come and share it with you and really unpack my thoughts about it and why I honestly believe that no matter what challenge we face, because we all have challenges that we face in our life, when we learn from it, we overcome it, we heal from it, it is almost like we have an unspoken duty to then turn around and help the next person in line. So first of all, as great as the question was, and I know exactly what she meant by it, but if I were to take it word for word, why didn't you heal in silence? I really believe there is no such thing as healing in silence, because to truly heal something, it requires community. It requires being able to share our experience, to let it out. If everything is energy, we need to let that energy go somehow. And for us to know how to do that on our own, I mean, as intelligent as the body is and how self-serving and really for self-preservation the body is, we require community. We require another to be able to guide us through that journey, whether that be a professional that you're working with, a therapist, a support community, also other peers who have experienced the same thing as you experienced. I mean, this is why support groups are so powerful, and there's so many of them. And think about it, just in having a support group, you can walk into the support group and you can be the newest member, the one who the experience is so raw and you're taking it in and you're learning from some of the senior participants, I'll say for lack of better words. And eventually, after a few months that you've been in this support circle, a new member is going to come. And that's putting you in such a beautiful position to be able to help this new member who is exactly where you were maybe a month or two prior to that moment. And so already, not even by a real deep desire to want to share, we are already in a position to share what we have experienced. I had spent a month and a half in the hospital after my accident, and probably about a month of being in the hospital, I was asked by one of the nurses there if I can go and speak with some of the new patients that came in. other brain injury survivors who had come in a few weeks after me from being in a car accident as well. And they asked if I can go and speak to them and their family to be able to provide them with a sense of hope that they can recover. And that was my first glimpse of recognizing that, wow, I really have something to share and I have something that could be of value and really help someone else, help the next person in line by me sharing this. Once I left the hospital and I moved in with my mom for the next 3 years while I continued to heal, I found a lot of inspiration online by finding other people who have experienced something similar to me. And honestly, it's those stories that really kept me going. It's those stories that got me through on some of my darkest times when the world seemed to be working against me, when I felt like I knew where I was going. I had my eyes set on my desired outcome, my healing journey. I wanted to get back to the same level that I was prior to the accident. But when my entire outside world was telling me no, and it was all so easy for me to just give up. It was seeing and reading other people's success stories that really kept me going, because I thought, well, if they can do it, then I can do it too. Thank God for people who are sharing their stories. Thank God for the people who aren't healing in silence and keeping it all to themselves, because the world needs them. Can you imagine if nobody ever shared their story of healing? None of us would heal. Honestly, because in sharing our stories, we are inspiring others. One of the first stories that I had read, it was from another brain injury survivor. His name is Lion Goodman. He was shot in the head 4 times and survived. When I was reading his story, I was mind blown. He was still able to even communicate with 4 bullets in his head. His story is unreal. If you've never heard of him, and if you have experienced a head injury and you want some source of inspiration, it is jaw-dropping. Or if you just want to maybe believe that the world is a magical place, like listen to or read his story, because it's incredible. And now the work that he does is he helps people reprogram their mind and eliminate their subconscious beliefs, which really what is held on our subconscious mind is forming our beliefs. And I felt like his story was so similar to mine, not in that he got shot in the head, but the point that we're both really aware of the beliefs that we're holding and how it's our beliefs that are limiting us in truly living the life that we want to live. He was someone that I really resonated with his story, and that was a source of inspiration for me. I also listened to a lot of near-death experience interviews, and those too were just so deeply moving for me, and it gave me the inspiration to continue moving forward. And what I started finding in listening to these interviews with these near-death experiencers was that they were all facing something in their life, or they were doing something in their life. They were ignoring something in their life, whether it was like an inner voice or just a knowing that they were living in misalignment. They were not in harmony with what their soul came here to do. And after their near-death experience or during the experience, they had an awakening, an true understanding of what was happening and what they were brought forth to create. They learned what it is that they needed to know in order to create an aligned life moving forward. And when they came back into their bodies, back living their life, they made the changes and are now sharing it with others, because what they experienced wasn't uniquely to themselves. And this is the root of all of the problems in the world today. We think that we're separate, that we're in these separate bodies and we have these separate egos, and this is our home and this is our city and our country. It's separate from everything else and all of this, when really we are all under one consciousness. at the core of us all, if we were to take all of us and put it under a microscope and compare with one another, we would see that we're very much the same. We're all made from the same source. It's our very fabric is the same, one consciousness. We are not alone in what we experience. I mean, of course, the actual physical experience itself is uniquely our own, but the experience in general, we're not alone in feeling the way that we feel, in feeling the misalignment, in feeling the low confidence, in feeling the lack of self-worth, in feeling the self-hatred, all of these things. We're not alone in feeling. Everyone can really agree. And that's why it's so important to share our story, because even though the unique actual physical experience is uniquely your own, there's not going to be two like it, of course, but the feeling that you felt, someone else also understands what that could feel like because they're feeling it in whatever is going on in their life. We all feel the same feelings. We can all understand it. And by sharing our stories of what we have overcome, we're helping others be able to overcome what they are currently faced with and what they're currently going through. I see it as every challenge we have is like an initiation into our purpose work, because the challenges that we're facing, we can overcome. I don't believe that we are presented with anything in life that we cannot overcome. And so if you are someone who has a really big challenge and it feels so overwhelming, rest assured that this challenge is so big and feels so overwhelming for you because you are even bigger. You are even stronger. You can absolutely overcome it. And maybe the reason why this challenge is so big is because it's meant to grow you into some unstoppable force, because it's opening you up to the future, to service that you have to give to others that you are not yet aware of. But whatever it is that we're facing, we can absolutely overcome it. It is our initiation into what our soul came here to do. And again, whatever it is that we experience, others are experiencing something similar that our story could be a source of inspiration for them. And that's why in listening to all of these incredible stories and having them provide that source of inspiration for me, I wanted to turn it around and be that source for others. I felt like it was my duty. It was my obligation. If I overcame something and I really healed and I really transformed my life, well, now I can share it with others. And my life prior to my car accident was very much about low self-worth. I didn't feel worthy to truly experience happiness and love and all of the things that I wanted. I was caught up in my own self-limiting narrative. My experience in the hospital made me recognize just how much of a powerful creator I am in my life, that I literally am shaping my life experience. And so this second time around on this earth that I am granted, I'm going to make different choices. I'm going to put myself at the forefront. I'm going to make myself the main character of my life. And I know that this feeling isn't uniquely to me. What I was feeling prior to my accident is not uniquely my own. So many of us, because how we were raised in society, to silence ourselves, to not speak up too loud, that we're not important, all of these things. There are a lot of people who experience a low sense of self-worth. There are a lot of people who are afraid to speak up, afraid to be visible, afraid to share their opinions and how they truly feel. There are a lot of people who don't truly love themselves because we were never taught to truly love ourselves. We were always taught to go outside of ourselves, please others. It's selfish to put ourselves first. And so I know that what I have learned could be of benefit to many by sharing it. It's not going to be a benefit to anybody if I decide to hoard it to myself and keep it within myself. And if everything truly is energy and I'm just holding out within myself, really, I'm not even helping myself. It needs to be shared with others. And this is how the whole world works. Give the knowledge and the value that you have to share, and you will receive it tenfold, not necessarily by the person that you're sharing it with, but by someone else. Because again, we are all one. It is all under one consciousness. If we remain in a state where we're hoarding everything that we have and all of the knowledge and all of the experience that we have, and we're not sharing it, we're not allowing ourselves to heal, we're not allowing others to heal either. We're not being that source of inspiration that others desperately need. I know that I could not have healed on my own. As much as I want to pride myself, I could not have healed if I didn't, for one, have the internet to go and look and search for all of these inspirational stories from others. I know that I wouldn't have healed if I also wasn't able to learn more about my brain, about my body, about the subconscious mind, about all of that. I wouldn't be able to heal if it wasn't for meditation practices, if it wasn't for journaling, if it wasn't for people sharing their journal prompts. Like, if we really think, every self-help that we have today, someone had experienced it in order to share it. It is so valuable, and thank God they did. Thank God they did, because they are literally changing lives. And what you are going through right now, whatever challenge you have overcome, you can change lives too, and you already are. And I believe that part of you already knows this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be tuning into a podcast called Feminine Initiate. The world will heal through the feminine. Not through the women, and I know you know by listening to this podcast, but through the feminine energy. The world will heal through collaboration, through self-love and self-nourishment, which in turn benefits the collective. I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the brain. Whether you are facing a big challenge right now and you're finding yourself in the midst of your healing journey, or you feel that you have overcome a significant challenge and you're feeling the pull to share it with others and maybe start a business around it. And maybe you're feeling like you're very much thinking about how you're going to do it. How am I going to heal, or how am I going to turn this into a business? I would suggest that you drop anything pertaining how am I going to get there, and start focusing specifically on what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, what is the place of your healing that you would like to get to, or what kind of business would you like to create, and what kind of impact would you like to create. Really get clear on that what, and start visualizing that. Start visualizing you at that end result. When we start really focusing on what it is that we're wanting, we are telling our brain what to look for. Our brain is truly a serving mechanism. It is serving us, whether we know it or not. And when we start actually giving it instructions to where it is that we want it to go, where we want our life to go, our body will respond. We all have a network in our brain known as the reticular activating system. And this network is tasked to seek in our environment what will be congruent with our dominant thinking pattern. Because whatever we think of consistently, we're telling our brain that that is important to us. Literally, what is in our brain and what our beliefs are, it's just a program. It's just what we've been repeating over and over. Our brain is like a computer. And if we just bought a computer off the store and we didn't install any programs, it would be pretty useless. What do you do with a computer with no softwares or programs or anything on it? You need to install it. And it's the same thing with our brain. All of these things that we have, all of these habits, all of these beliefs, they're all programs that have been installed in our brain. And so what we want to do is we want to start installing these new ideas, a new program to tell our brain what is important. When we start focusing on what's important to us, we're creating a new program in our brain, and our brain will just run that program. When you continue to think about your ideal healing scenario, what that would look like, or your ideal business, what would that business look like? What would you be doing? You are telling your brain that that is important for you. And so in turn, it is going to start looking for evidence in your external world to prove itself correct. That's another thing. Your brain always wants to be right. Whatever it is that you want to put into it, it wants to prove that right, even if the beliefs that you are putting in are complete nonsense. And we know that with these limiting beliefs, when we get caught up in these low self-worth beliefs that we're not important, like nobody cares, garbage. But if we continue to believe that, our brain will seek evidence to prove it right. And the thing is it's not even that evidence is real. It's just our interpretation of what it is that we're seeing around us, and we're going to validate it. Our brain is going to create this beautiful story, beautiful or not beautiful, to make it correct. And so then we end up living in this world that is not serving us, but it's self-created. And so if you continue to think about the what that you would love, within 3 days, this is how long it takes, 3 days of consistent thinking. And so it does require an effort on your part. You really want to program into your brain, tell your brain is going to serve you, but tell it what it is that you want it to look for. And so, brain, this is what I'm thinking of. This is what I want. And in 3 days, you will start to see some sort of evidence in your physical reality. Maybe you're going to see somebody who has achieved the state of healing that you want, or who has the business that you want. When you see that, refrain from feeling jealous, refrain from judgment, thinking, oh, they can do that because they had all of this, and of course it works for them, and I had it more serious than them, or they had all of the connections to be able to do that. No. Thank your brain for seeing that and reframe it as a possibility for yourself. I am seeing this and I am next in line. I'm next in line for that healing or that success. And then you can speak to those people and find out how they did it and get information. So keep an open mind, but you will end up seeing how this could be a reality for you. And so this is my long-winded answer to the question that I was asked earlier this week. Why didn't I just heal in silence? And it is because I truly believe that we heal in community. We heal by sharing. And that during my journey, I needed inspiration from others who were brave enough to share their story. And I wanted to be that for others. And I saw my experience as an initiation into this greater purpose work that I am meant to be doing. And I believe that what we face, when we do overcome it, it is like an unspoken duty that we have to turn around and help the next person in line. And whether that be through a book or speaking on stages throughout the world, starting a podcast, starting coaching offers, or simply sharing the depths of your experience and your knowledge with a neighbor or in a local support group. It all works. The key is that it feels right to you. It feels like the right space to be able to share your story with others. So thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I hope that this resonated with you. And if it did, and you know of someone else who can benefit from this episode, then please share it with them. I hope that you have a fantastic week, and we will talk soon. Until next time, be empowered. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating and review. It'll help me grow the show by reaching a wider audience. And if you'd like to continue this conversation, join me inside my private Facebook group, Just Launch. This is a great place where we can connect on a more personal level. You can find the link in the show notes.